Hey everyone, so in this video today we are talking about that Tailwind CSS. So Tailwind CSS is a framework so in that framework we can include in our React.js project as a straightforward, and I'll show the complete step-by-step guide. So how to use the Tailwind CSS in React application actually. So in the modern website, so without leaving your HTML page, so you can able to highly you can design your website without leaving your html file using this tailwind css. So I'll show you how to do that actually, so don't skip that video, and let's deep dive into that. All right, so the first thing we need to create a react.js application. So in that I can go to the terminal, and I'm going to create a new react.js application. So I'm gonna type, so I'm going to type, so npx create react app and my tailwind hyphen app. So if I enter that, so now app is creating. Let's be wait. Yeah. So now React is installed my first project called My Tailwind app, and inside that I can go to the my project path. So after that, I'm gonna install the Tailwind CSS, and along with that, I need some more dependencies. So the first thing I can install that npm install Tailwind CSS along with that post CSS CLI and auto prefixer. So if I enter that, it will install that the three dependencies: Tailwind and post CSS CLI and auto prefixer actually. So these three things I can install it. Yeah, now that installation is done, so the next part, create a Tailwind CSS configuration file and initialize it. So for that, I will execute that command, uh, npm, npx Tailwind CSS init actually. So this command will create the Tailwind config.js JSON file in your project actually. So let me run it. So here is the thing. So tailwind.config.js. So inside that content and plugin. So these two things we are going to use actually. So the plugins level, I can include that Tailwind CSS and auto prefixer, the two things actually. So that I can include it. And after that, if you have additional any plugins, so if you need, so you can add it over there. And also I can add that project path and what are the path will support, so that I can add it over there. So I can type that src. So under that all the files for the HTML and JS files. So I can just call it, and so that's all in the Tailwind configuration level. So the next thing, we need to create a style sheet based on that. So that's why. So I can open that index.css, and this CSS already pre-generated script, so I don't need that. So I can remove it, and I'm gonna implement that three main components actually for the tailwind. So one is for base and the components and the utility. So the three things I can include it in my index.css file actually. And the next part, we can import our style sheet actually. So in your React application, usually that entry point should be a index.js, right? So in that, I can open the index.js. So I don't want to send the analytics to that CRA vital, so I can just remove it. And in that, it's already known. So the index CSS already imported. So in that, I can just creating that root element over there. So I just call that root element for that. So after that, we'll start that coding actually. So under the next part, I'm going to create a beautiful registration page using Tailwind CSS. Involves the combining various utility classes to style the different elements actually. So I'll show some example for that registration page. The first thing, I can open that app.js. So this is the pre generated that script actually, so the home page. So I can remove completely all the things, and the first thing, I can import that react module. So and the next part, I can create your own function, so called the registration page actually. So in that function, I can create a return statement. So this will return that html elements actually. So that I can just create it. And finally, I'll be exporting this registration page as well actually. So in that, I'm gonna to creating a html elements over there. So let me type the full registration page, then I'll explain that over there. So here is the code actually. So in that code, let me explain that. So so in that code, first I'll make that outer container actually. So let me explain. So in that outer container, so I can choose that min height screen actually. So set the minimum height of the container to fill the entire screen actually, and flex items so to the center actually. So this will uh, centers the content both horizontally and vertically, and justify enter and bg gray 100 actually. So set the background color as a light gray of the 100 scale actually. So this is how that outer container will work. And the next part, it's a registration form container actually. So this is the second dev, right? So this is the registration form container, and let me open it. So in that bg white is there, right? So it's set the background color of the form, the container is white, and a p8 padding, it's adding the padding to the container, and a rounded, so rounds the corner of the container, and that shadow md we used, right? So this is add the subtle box shadow actually. And this is the one full thing actually. So some small, medium, and large like that, right? So this is set a width of the container based on the screen size breakpoints actually. So and the next part, it's a form title actually, so that called a register. So in that form title, we use the text 3xl, right? So set the size text size of extra large, and makes that semi bold, and text is equal to center. So and mb4 add the margin of the bottom of the element actually. So this is how it will be get work. And the next part, form inputs actually. So in that dev class name mb4, so this code defines that each form input margin at bottom, and inside each container there is a label and an input field, right? So at the margin bottom, so the password, confirmation password, right? So that is the thing. And each input field has styling classes for borders and padding and focus behavior, so it will be get apply actually. And so in that, if you can see that, so that label html for name and the block text gray is equal to 600 and the full name. So in that, I can just reuse that same code and again. So in that part, input type text, and id name and class name, so width full, and a border gray 300, and a border rounded, and so based on that x-axis y-axis, and focus outline none, and a border blue 500, and a placeholder john. So this is how it will be get work. And the same as I can implement at that email address and password, and a confirm password, and also register. And if already have an account, so at that time I can use that already access an account with the text gray, with the text small actually. So let me run the code, so and you will get an uh, so you will get an result actually. So npm start. So now server is started, it's loading. Yeah, so as you can see that, so based on our margin and paddle things, so it will be, the design is simply awesome actually. So the full name, email address, password, and confirm password, and register button, and login button actually. So this is looks like very minimalistic, and it will be very neat and clean actually. So it will take almost to 10 to 50 minutes only to getting that registration page. So if you go with the normal css thing, so you need to uh, write the end-to-end css things actually. But this Tailwind CSS, you can just simply configure it, and you can just call the flags inside your markup language. So it will be automatically will it get design actually. So in that short period of time actually. So it is very much crazy, right? So hope you guys you will like that video. And if you really like that video, please subscribe my channel for more videos like this in the future. And don't forget to share it to your friends and colleagues. And see you on the next video. Bye. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, Please hit the like button and consider to subscribe our channel for more videos like this in the future. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends and colleagues who might find it useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below and we'll be happy to respond. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.